Namaste, guys. ChristianRLong, life enhancement consultant, giving you a big and beautiful shout out on this Sunday evening here in Denver, Colorado, a little after 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. And just finished working out, a little out of breath. It's okay. I'll recover. Eric, Namaste, Barbecue King of Massachusetts. How are you? Hope you're well. Hope the family's well. I want to jump on real quick because something inspired me. This inspired me to come up with the topic, and then the topic I came up with is also inspiring this, so they're feeding each other. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing a 3-day psyllium husk fast, if you will. Not quite a fast, but psyllium husk is basically pure fiber. Super easy, not super complicated. And you can pick up, 180 vegan capsules for about $10 at Whole Foods. And basically, at the end of the night, you have your last meal. About 30 to 60 minutes after your last meal, you pop in 4 to 8 of these into your body with a glass of water. They expand. If I remember correctly, the capsules expand 100 times or so in your intestinal tract. And then you go to bed, and as you're sleeping, as you're hanging out in the inner world, the fiber is deeply cleansing your intestinal tract, your small and large intestines. And then guess what? When you wake up in the morning and you have your first bowel movement, it'll be quite large and quite satisfying. So why am I doing this? Well, because I haven't done psyllium husk in quite some time. But for those of you who've been following the streams for any period of time, you know that in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be traveling to the West Coast, doing the annual Arhatic Yoga Retreat with Master Stephen Coe, and then flying out the next week to the East Coast and doing the East Coast annual Arhatic Yoga Retreat with Master Glenn, Master Marilag, Master Hector, Master Coe, and Master Nona. So 5 of the world's 8 pranic healing masters are going to be at the event, and I want to purify. Jose, Namaste. I want to purify as much as I possibly can as I get ready for the retreat. It sounds like gunshots, but it also sounds like fireworks at the same time. So maybe somebody is shooting somebody outside with fireworks. Possible? I mean, still the festive time of year, right? So in our, Jillian, Namaste, in pranic healing and our Hatha Yoga, we talk about the importance of purification. Mason, Namaste. There are different kinds of purification, right? You have physical purification, which is what we're working on with the psyllium husk. As I take this in the evening, it's going to deeply cleanse out my colon, or in my intestines, small, large intestines, and colon, and I'll have a big bowel movement in the morning. So my body will be lighter, and my ability to absorb nutrients from the food that I eat and the things that I drink will be better, which improves the overall quality and vitality of my physical body, right? So as you remove something, as you remove disease-congested physical matter, physical energy can pass through your body more efficiently and more effectively. Same thing with our emotional body. As we remove stress, anger, fear, trauma from our system, good, high-quality emotional energies can flow through our emotional body easier. So again, going back to emotional purification. Forgiveness also helps with emotional purification. Then you have mental purification, which is a little bit harder to do. Not as easy as physical and emotional purification, but basically as we remove negative pride, self-delusion, self-conceitedness, preconceived ideas, unrealistic expectations, we can be more open and receptive to receiving accurate perception, humility, right viewpoint, clarity, mental stillness, all from purifying the mental body, right? And then we have spiritual purification, which in pranic healing, we use primarily the Twin Hearts meditation to spiritually purify ourselves, which allows us to what? Be more conductive, be more receptive to the divine energies coming from God, the great ones, our teacher and our higher self, into our spiritual, also known as the causal body. Really cool, right? So as you purify spiritually, you receive spiritual energies. As you purify mentally, you receive mental energies. As you purify emotionally, you receive emotional energies. As you purify physically, you're better able to receive physical energies. So how does this relate to tonight's topic on what you see is actually the smallest part of you? So we have physical eyes, right? So as we open up our physical eyes and we look at our physical hand, our right hand, our physical left hand, we look at our face, right? Most of the world sees, and that's it. We see the physical body, and that's it. So we spend so much time, so much attention, so much detail taking care of the physical body, but we don't see the bigger body, which is our emotional body, where we have great high level emotions and very low level dark emotions. But our emotional body interpenetrates the physical body and then permeates outward. So our emotional body is actually bigger, right? Is bigger than our physical body. But what do we spend more time on? Our physical body, right? Then you have the mental body, which permeates and radiates out even more for most people. And it interpenetrates the emotional body and the physical body. So it's where we have our thoughts, our pros, our cons, our contrast, our belief systems, our ideals about life and about each other. So every thought that we have is in the mental body. Science says we think about 60,000 thoughts per day. Not a lot of those thoughts are high quality. Not a lot of those thoughts are coming from divine inspiration. They're just thoughts, right? Thinking. More like parroting than actually thinking. We're pinging off our environment, right? Then we have our causal or spiritual body, which interpenetrates all the other bodies, the mental body, the emotional body, the etheric and physical bodies, which is the biggest in relationship to these bodies. So my teacher, Grandmaster Choa Koksui, the modern founder of pranic healing and Arhatic yoga, said many years ago that isn't it interesting that we spend so much time we spend 90% of our time on the things that we can see, and we suffer tremendously because of the things that we can see, right? So the physical world that we see with our physical eyes, our physical bodies, our environments and other people, that causes 90% of our suffering. Rather than if we just recognize that we're not our physical body, we're not our emotions, we're not our thoughts, we're the soul, and as we connect to the soul, that resolves 90+% of our problems because we're coming from a higher viewpoint, recognizing, hey, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. So when I put on a few extra pounds, instead of feeling bad about myself, I just do the step 1, step 2, step 3 thing to take care of my physical body, such as physical purification, maybe changing your diet, maybe increasing your workout routine, but you don't do it with emotional attachment to it. You just go, okay, from the soul's perspective, I need to take care of my physical body. I will do the necessary things to take care of my physical body. Makes sense, right? From an emotional standpoint, if we know practicing forgiveness towards oneself and towards other people will alleviate us of inner pain, inner turmoil, hatred, bitterness, and give us a sense of inner peace, happiness, and joy, and we view it from the soul's perspective, we go, okay, I'm not going to fight, I'm not going to argue, I'm not going to debate, I'm not going to get caught up in the lower reality. I'm going to stay up here and go, time to do forgiveness. And we sit down, we do our forgiveness practice. And then we feel light. We feel at peace. If you do not forgive, it is impossible to have inner peace. I'll say that again. If you do not forgive, it is impossible to have inner peace. So there's a lot of people on the planet that don't have inner peace because someone or something hurt them many years ago, and they've been holding on to that anger within them for all of these years that it's eating them from the inside out. Forgiveness is therapeutic. Forgiveness is very important. And then with viewpoint, with our mind, right? It's like we could spend so much time defending our ideas, defending our ideals, fighting and battling each other with our thoughts and our words. But if we view it from the soul perspective, and we view it from a higher level of understanding and a more accurate viewpoint, when we look at a person who has differing beliefs than our own, and we have understanding, we go, oh, that's just where the person's at. That's just their life experience. It doesn't mean that that's my life experience. And if I grew up the way that they grew up, would I also think, feel, speak, and act the same way that they do? Most likely, right? So as we view the world from a higher viewpoint, we spend less time judging, criticizing, and putting other people in boxes. And we do what? We start viewing them from a higher viewpoint. We start viewing them from the soul versus from their ego, their personality, their programs, their traumas, their weaknesses, their physical attractiveness or lack of physical attractiveness, their emotional distress, their emotional sweetness. We start seeing people from a higher perspective and viewpoint, which is a super, super healing way to do it, right? So again, our suffering in life is caused by sticking with the lowest level of truth. We think everything that we are is our body, right? So if that's the viewpoint, when this body changes in any way, shape, or form, for the better or for the worse, our self-esteem goes up or our self-esteem goes down. If our bank account goes up, we feel good. If our bank account goes down, we feel not so good. If we're in a loving relationship, we feel good. If we're not in a loving relationship, we feel bad. If we had a brilliant idea of inspiration, we feel good. If somebody questions and judges our viewpoint, we feel bad, right? So we're constantly vacillating because we're putting all of our identity in our identity, right? So rather than identifying with the soul, which is truly what we are, we're identifying with our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions or our physical body. Now, if you look on Instagram, where you see model after model after model, yoga practitioner after yoga practitioner, athlete after athlete after athlete, you see these beautiful bodies. Most 90% of them are selfies, right? Because a lot of the people are over identified with their physical bodies. So as long as they spend every waking moment of their life taking care of their physical body, everything's going to be fine, right? But they're not working on their emotional body, which is bigger. They're not working on their mental body, which is even bigger. And they're not working on their spiritual or causal body, which is even bigger, right? And if you start with the highest first, as in I am the soul, and work backwards or work down, that influences the quality of your thoughts, influences the quality of your feelings, and influences the quality of your physical body even, right? Super, super important. We did a little talk about this a couple weeks back on inner beauty and outer beauty. But I just want to, Avani, I'm going to stay. I did see your question, by the way. I will answer it. It's a good question. I'm thinking how to best answer it. So, instead of working from the bottom up, it's better to work from the top down, right? Work from the top down. Work from I am the soul. I'm not the body, not the emotions, not the thoughts. I am the soul. And then everything that you think, speak, feel, and do will be grounded and anchored in the biggest aspect of what you are. I hope it's a very subtle distinction, but it's very profound and very powerful. So I don't want you to miss it. So I hope that helps. I hope that gives you guys clarification about the importance of purification, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, as well as having your viewpoint starting from the top, working your way down, identifying with the biggest aspect of who and what you are. But yes, you do have to take care of your physical body. You do have to have your psyllium husk from time to time, your intense, concentrated, potent fiber working through your small, large intestines and colon. But do not neglect the other aspects of you, your emotions, your emotional body, your mental body, and your spiritual body. And that's a big, big reason as to why very few people have inner peace and inner stillness. One, they're holding on to anger Angela, namaste. They're holding on to anger, one factor. And the other factor is they have not trained themselves to be still, physically still, emotionally still, mentally still, and spiritually still. They haven't trained themselves to do that. So that's why when people sit and they try to meditate, what happens? They get all stirred up emotionally. They start feeling things that make them uncomfortable, agitated, anxiousness starts coming on, and they think that the source of the problem is not with their energy or their other bodies, but the problem is the meditation. So what do? Rather than working on their emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies, they stop meditating and then just work on their physical bodies. Because working on your physical body, for most people, not in all cases, but for most people is easier than working on your emotional body, your mental body, and your spiritual body. Why? Because they can see it. It's physical. It's obvious. They're like, oh, my weight last week was 150 pounds. My weight is now 160 pounds. Aha, I put on 10 extra pounds. I'm going to go to the gym more often. I'm going to reduce my calorie intake, and then I can go from 160 back to 150, right? It's very easy. It's very tangible. It's not so ethereal and esoteric. So when you say to somebody, hey, you got to work on your emotions. Hey, you got to practice forgiveness. Hey, you got to practice more gratitude. They're like, how do I do that? Because the physical body is easy to figure out. Go to the gym, go for a run, go for a bike ride, cut your calories, go vegetarian, cut out the junk food, cut out the extra salt, blah, blah, blah. It's very simple. But when it comes to the emotions and the mind and the spiritual aspect of ourselves, mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. You have to take care of all of your bodies. If you're super fit, but you neglect the other bodies, you have to take care of those bodies. If those bodies are very, very developed, you have a super sharp, clear mind, you have wonderful, beautiful feeling emotions, but your body is constantly sick, out of shape, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, you have to take care of your physical body. Make sense? So there's no aspect of your life that should just be whatever, I'll get around to it when I get around to it. Every aspect of your life needs to be taken care of. So Vani says, talking about purification, heard this Friday, February 21st will be Mahashivrata, biggest festival for Lord Shiva. Helps in purification and negative cords cutting. I'm not actually aware of that festival. India is known as the land of 30 million gods, right? So there's an aspect, there's a deity, there's a being, there's a deva or Mahadeva to give attention to. And Lord Shiva is one of the three aspects of God known as the creative, destroyer, and restorer. And Lord Shiva is amazing, amazing, amazing energy. So the three aspects of the soul, light, which is intelligence, love, which is nurturing, providing for, sustaining, and then power or will is making something happen, moving something, right? If you don't have will, nothing moves, right? Everything's stationary, so you need to have will to move something. And the reason Lord Shiva is called the creative destroyer is because in the process of creating, and creation is a continuous process, in the process of creating, something has to get destroyed. The old must die for the new to be restored and brought about. So the simple example that we give in pranic healing is if you're doing a renovation in your kitchen, right? And see how I'm using a physical example, because physical examples are easier for most people to understand because we think this is the biggest part of us. So the physical example of the kitchen renovation is you have to destroy the old kitchen before you restore the kitchen with new everything, right? You can't have the old and the new coming together at the same time. You have to destroy the old and then you restore it with the new, right? It's fascinating, right? And the restoration is actually the love aspect of God restoring something. So you have creative destruction while in the higher planes it's happening simultaneously. Creative destruction with restoration and rebuilding. So the universe is constantly renewing itself. It's really a beautiful process, and I'm obviously learning more about it each and every time we talk about it, each and time we do healing, each and time we do meditations, because that's actually what healing is. Healing, from what we do in pranic healing, is creative destruction. We're disintegrating and removing the old beliefs, the old patterns, the old thought forms, the old emotions, the old energies that no longer serve that person. At one point in time, those beliefs, those programs, those patterns did serve that person, did help that person function in a certain way. I'll give you an example. So if you're a little kid, in your whole life, people are, people are putting you down and making you feel bad about yourself, there's going to be a tendency for within you to build up negative self-esteem or negative pride to overcompensate for the belittling that you got as a kid. Meaning if everyone tells you as a little kid, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat, there's going to be a part of you that creates that thought form and that program to keep your psychology functioning so you don't kill yourself, right? Some people don't have that ability, but most of us do. So most of us, as we get maybe put down or belittled or talked bad about as children, we incorporate certain programs and mechanisms in our psychology, in our subconscious mind, that keeps us safe and protected long enough to grow into adulthood. So those programs served us at one point in time, but guess what? We got to get rid of them. We have to destroy the old programs in order to make way for the new, better, more empowering programs. It's a fascinating process, but that's what healing is. So when someone has stress, we're going in and destroying the stress energy and hopefully destroying the cause of the stress energy, and also destroying the old viewpoint that the person has around stress. Because have you ever noticed you have the same stressor, but you have two different people? One person handles the stress and they collapse. The other person thrives on the success or on the stress. Why? Because of the viewpoint. One has a more accurate viewpoint about stress and they're able to function with it. Another person has an inaccurate viewpoint around stress and it crumbles them. It's really, really interesting, right? So that being said, are there any other questions, comments, concerns, clarifications in regards to what we covered today? We covered a lot actually in a short period of time, which is rare. We usually cover a lot in a lot period of time. If you are in need of healing and transformation and helping with the destruction of your old patterns, programs, thought forms, please let me know. Go to ChristianRLong.com. It's my name. It's my website. You click on it. You sign up. Super, super easy. And then we would work together over FaceTime or Zoom or Skype or whatever's most convenient to you. And that's it. So usually there's a 15 to 20 second delay on Facebook. I'll give you guys another minute or so. But again, this is psyllium husk. It's probably a reverse image, but you guys are intelligent people. It's basically concentrated fiber. You take 6 to 8 of these at your last meal of the night with some water, go to sleep, wake up the next morning and have an amazing, phenomenal bowel movement for physical purification to help you absorb nutrients from your food and liquids better. Ta-da! So, thank you guys very, very much for your time, your energy, your comments. I hope this added value to you. If you got value from tonight's stream, please share it on your personal page, your Facebook page, or even somewhere off of Facebook. That's okay too. I mean, it's not okay for Facebook, and I'm sure they're listening to this right now. Hi, Facebook. Love you. And I look forward to connecting with you guys very, very soon. This is Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, wishing you a beautiful weekend. We're now done with it. A beautiful upcoming week and a beautiful life. Atma. Namaste. Bye-bye.